book of Luke, chapters 13 to 24. Let's do it. So we left off with Jesus going against all of the traditions. Now, like I said in the last video, Jesus was going against the church. Now, the church then was not the same thing as the church now. Remember, this is the Jewish customs, the Jewish tradition. This was the people that he had grown up with. It's what Jesus was. He was a Jew. He was a practicing Jew. And when we see Jews practicing the Passover, the years of Jubilee, the festivals, all of these things, there was things that were already institutionalized that Jesus would have had adhered to as a child growing all the way up. And so when Jesus is coming into these places now as an adult and, full-fledged in his ministry, being anointed, being chosen by God, having all these signs following him, it's going to cause some problems because the people that he is supposed to be honoring, or the people that he's supposed to be submitting to or surrendering to, those are the very same people that he is calling out. And he's not calling them out in a nice way. He's calling them generation of brood of vipers. He's calling them hypocrites. He's calling them foxes. He's calling them things that today would have been considered very, very bold and harsh explicitives that would have been calling out what they were. They were hypocrites, whitewashed tombs. Talk about calling names. He was calling names because he was seeing the hurt and the devastation that these people were causing into his own people. He was seeing how people that were suffering in need of rescue, in need of healing, were being neglected, rejected, and pushed out of the temple, pushed out of the public eye so they wouldn't be noticed, so they wouldn't be seen. And so Jesus goes on a rampage, rebuking the mess out of all of these people. Another thing that we notice towards the end of Luke is that Jesus is going out to eat a lot. Jesus is sitting down at Zacchaeus' house. We see that Jesus is having banquets with all types of poor people. He's having dinners with everybody. He's going around, he's doing these things. And when his disciples come back, he's inviting them back with more word, more teaching. He's teaching them about trusting in God, not worrying about the things of this world, not worrying about wealth or worrying about, the things that they could own. He's not worrying about any of that. He said, be generous, be minimalistic, live within your means, live in complete dedication, not worrying about what the world is offering, worried about how God is going to provide for you. He is basically teaching them a culture that is not dependent on stuff. He's dependent on him. We see him eating. He's eating with his disciples. He's eating with the poor. He's eating with the Pharisees. He's going out to eat everywhere. These aren't normal dinners. These are dinners that are full of moments of Jesus having debates, of Jesus having discussions, of Jesus giving them teachings. Maybe there's something there. Dinners, Jesus, maybe there's something there. And we capture the last week of Jesus' life, again, going into Jerusalem. He doesn't stop. He enters in on a donkey. He tells them how the destruction of Jerusalem is going to come. He explains to them that salvation isn't going to just be for the Jews anymore, but he's entering in everybody, that his spirit is going to pour out over everyone. And we're going to see that later on in Acts. But for now, we see that Jesus is crucified. We see that he shares in a last dinner with his disciples. We see that even on the cross, he is offering forgiveness for those that are crucifying him, as well as one of the people that are already condemned and convicted of their crimes crucified next to him. And he says to him, you will be with me in paradise. Jesus resurrects. And something really interesting here is that on the road to Emmaus, there's these two disciples that are super sad, super depressed, and Jesus is walking there with them, and they don't even realize that it's Jesus. And Jesus is sharing in this moment. And then when he goes to break the bread, it all clicks. This was Jesus the whole time. He was talking to us. What was the point of that? Why would Jesus do that? Well, the point is that Jesus had already shown them throughout their entire lives who he was, and him breaking the bread was a symbolism for something later on. Now, remember, we're not going to get into the super duper theological things now. We're going to focus on that stuff later. But for now, just know that all of the things that Jesus did in his life, not only were there direct references to what the scripture says before, but they're fulfillments of prophecy and symbolism of what God was doing later on. That's all I have for you guys today. Let's have a good one.